In this chapter, we're going to learn how to enhance our animations using easing. And along with that, we'll learn how to use one of the most powerful animation tools in Flash CS5 Pro, and that is the Motion Editor panel. Now, to get things started, we're going to be doing a basketball scene, and I have my basketball flaw file open. You'll find that in your Chapter 6 folder in your project files, probably on your desktop. And as you can see, we've got a basketball here ready to animate. Now, we've also got a backboard and a hoop over here on the side, but we'll get back to those two later. To understand easing, it's probably best to start out with something that doesn't have it. So let's set up a basic animation with our basketball here. First, I'll check out the artwork. If I click on the basketball, you can see that it is a movie clip, so it's ready to go. And I can create a motion tween by selecting the keyframe and either using my insert menu up here for motion tween, or right click and just create motion tween right at the top. The program drops a standard number of frames in there, usually whatever your frame rate is, and we're ready to animate. Now all I'm going to do is take this ball and have it drop down towards the floor, or actually the bottom of the stage. My playhead is already at the end of the animation, so all I have to do is just drag and change the position, and the program will make a keyframe for me just like normal. What I really wanted to do was get a bouncing animation, and that means we need another animation of our ball going back up. Well, let me show you a nice shortcut. We've already seen that we can grab tweens in the timeline and just move them around in time. And we've also done a drag copy on objects by holding down the Object or the Alt key on your keyboard while you're dragging. Well, that actually works up here in the timeline as well. I'm going to grab hold of this whole tween, and while I'm holding down the Alt key, or the Option key on the Mac keyboard, you can move it around, and whenever you drop it, you'll create a copy of the entire tween. Since they are copies of one another, they're going to be exactly the same, so we're going to have two animations where the basketball is falling downward. But that's okay. We can actually make one more modification to a tween, but this one is kind of hidden because it's only in the right-click menu. What I'll do is right-click on the second tween, and down here at the bottom of all these selections is Reverse Keyframes. We can also simply just reverse the motion path, but in our case that's exactly the same thing, so we'll get the same result. We'll click on Reverse Keyframes, and now my second animation has the ball at the bottom at the beginning of the animation and ends at the top. So we have a bounce down and a bounce up. Now let's do a quick preview of our animation. I'm just going to do a test movie in Flash Professional. And we can see our bouncing ball there. Our animation is looping like normal, but you can see it looks kind of stiff and not very lifelike, not very real. So let's close that down. Now when we make tweens, you can see by the dots here that we're getting a nice even smooth motion. But it's not necessarily a natural motion. If this were a real ball, it would slow down as it was bouncing back up into the air. And since all these dots are evenly spaced, we can see that it's moving at exactly the same speed. Well, that's exactly what easing is going to do for us. It's going to allow us to change the speed of our object within the animation itself. There's an easy place to use it, and we can get started right in the Motion Tween properties. Let's start off with the first animation. Now, in this animation, my ball is supposed to be falling down. If you can imagine dropping a ball in midair, it would actually take a little time to speed up as it fell down. Well, we can achieve that kind of motion over here in the Motion Tween properties. If you're not seeing Motion Tween, make sure you click on the Motion Tween up here first, and we can see easing as the first category. Now I've got one of those adjusting values, and I'm just going to click and pull right on this, and we can see that we've got 100 maximum, and when I let go, that says ease out. And now let's see what that's done to our animation out here on the stage. You can see that my dots are no longer evenly spaced. They actually change almost every frame. We start out with long distances, and we go down to short distances. Now we know from our experience that the further apart the dots are, the faster the object seems to be moving. So what's really happening is as our ball falls, it's actually slowing down. It's moving less and less each frame. And that's what ease out is going to create for you. It's going to create a speed change at the end of your animation. So you can think out, end. What we really want is the opposite of this. So let's go back to our easing control. Now this time you can pull left or you can pull down, but you can see that the number maxes out at minus 100. And when I let go of that one, it changes the word to in. Now basically an ease in is a speed change at the beginning of the animation. So our ball is going to start very slow. You can see all the points very close together, and it's going to speed up as it continues to fall. This is a really easy way to gain control over speed in your animations because the program is still evenly spacing our items. It's just changing that speed that we perceive in a smooth way as well. Now let's look at our second animation. You can see the evenly spaced items, and my easing is set at 0, so we don't have any speed change yet. What I'm going to do on this side is we're going to create an ease out. I'll pull right till we get to 100. And you can see then as the ball bounces off the ground, it's going to be moving very fast, but it's going to slow down as it reaches the top of the arc. Now let's see how that runs full speed. We've got a much better animation. It's still smooth, but the ball seems much more natural now. I'll turn that off.